BMW M3 is probably the car most deserving of the ultimate driving machine badge. It is a raw sports sedan, the great engine, great transmission, but sometimes I just wish that there was a car that was just a bit more than that, just a little bit more driver focused, maybe a little less practical, maybe a little more like this. This is a 2000 BMW Z3M Coupe. It is possibly one of the best cars I have ever driven, and definitely the best BMW. Quick spoiler alert, after driving this car, I want to buy one. Actually, I want to buy this one, and if I had the money, I could, because as of posting this video, it is for sale by my friend Tyler Hoover on Cars and Bids. Cars and Bids is an auction website by Doug DeMuro for selling cars from the modern era, 80s and newer, that have a particular enthusiasm to them. Everything from 80s Porsches to 2000s Rolls Royces to Miatas to a 97 Buick Riviera even, and this can be bought on Cars and Bids. I haven't bought anything there yet. I have bid on a couple things, but the old bank account ain't what it once was. I do enjoy interacting with the community though, and I enjoy taking pictures for them. If you've seen any of Tyler's past auctions there, I did take the pictures. I've been a photographer for quite a while, actually. It's a very, very fun hobby. Been doing it for about 10 years or more now. So after you watch this video, if you're interested in owning this particular car, check out the link in the description for the auction listing from Tyler Hoover on carsandbids.com. So let's take a look around this thing. The best way to really describe what this car is if you imagine an E36 M3 combined with a Miata. It started out as the Z3 Roadster. The M designates the engine and suspension. In this case, it is an S52 straight six, which is, I believe, a 3.2 liter that was also in the American E36 M3. It's about 240 horsepower, 240 pounds-feet of torque. Pretty solid numbers, especially in a car this light. This thing weighs hardly anything. Actual number is right here because I forgot it. And if you wanted a bit more stiffness than the Z4M Roadster, you could get the Coupe, which has this awesome hatchback to it that's super practical and just makes this stand out like no other car on the road. I mean, look at it. It's well deserving of the name Clownshoe. This is such a cool looking car. I was actually pretty tame on this era of BMW for the longest time. The E36 never did much for me. The Z3 it wasn't as cool to me as the Z4, which is one of Chris Bangle's best designs by a long shot. But after driving this thing, it provides a very modern driving experience with just the right touch of rad to it. There's remnants of the 90s in here that give it a very nice nostalgic feel while still being modern enough and comfy enough to be a pretty reasonable daily driver, honestly. A 5-speed manual transmission, a very direct steering box, a very good suspension, and the best engine note BMW has ever made. But just because I said this is like an M3 crossed with a Miata, don't think that it is quite as impractical as one. We have all kinds of storage back here in the boot. As you can see, I've got my camera equipment. There is a Harman Kardon subwoofer, this nice cargo cover, but look at all this room. I could sit back here, and so I shall. Ugh, wow, spacious. Joking aside, this is definitely a car that you could take on some road trips, go somewhere far-flung with nice roads, and then have an absolute ball. It's roomy inside, too. I mean, I'm only 6'5", but there is a decent amount of headroom in here, and I've got the seat moved quite a ways forward from its full back position, so someone quite a bit taller than my 5'5" could fit in here. I mean, look at Tyler, the man towers over me, and he drives this with no problem. I love these gauges here in the center console. The chrome rings are super neat, and it just looks like something you'd find in an old fighter jet. It really adds just to the whole experience of this car, because it is an experience. Also, the shift knob lights up. That's actually really cool. Just sitting in it, this is definitely a car that feels special. You've got the M badging everywhere. It says M Coupe in the gauge cluster. You've got the tricolor stitching, which is super cool, and these really comfy bolstered sport bucket seats. These actually fit me quite well. I might run home real quick and swap these into my 3 Series and see if Tyler notices or not. But the real reason that you get a car like this, obviously, is to drive it, so let's go do that. gosh. Oh, what a symphony. I apologize for the handheld camera. I know this isn't quite the right way to do it, but I just didn't want to go sticking things to someone else's car windows. This car drives so nice. It does have some aftermarket suspension on it and aftermarket exhaust, but both of them are perfection. I don't know what it was like stock, but this is better. This is just, there was no compromise made. The exhaust sounds absolutely amazing under load, and then just cruising here on the highway, I can barely hear it. The steering has a very nice weight to it. I'm a huge fan of that. And then just... straight sixes are so musical. People talk about like a screaming Italian V8 or a V12 or V10 or the high strung out four cylinders in the high-end Hondas like the S2000, but I just love straight sixes and flat sixes. There's just nothing like them. They are musical. Oh, it's good. It's very good. And rarely is a straight six or a flat six obnoxious sounding, like, for example, a V6 and, you know, the 350Z and stuff like that. And the power is very good in this car, very smoothly delivered, and just in concert with that sound. After 2002, these got the S54 that came in the E46 M3, which is one of my favorite cars of all time. S54s I don't think sound as good as the S52. The S52 is one of the best sounding engines that BMW ever made. The S54 sounds like a tin can full of marbles. But the S54 does make 320 horsepower in the same chassis, and that sounds incredible, frankly. That sounds amazing, but it also sounds less fun. This is about the perfect balance. This is a good amount of power that you can still use and have fun with. You can do a pull-up and on-ramp and row through 3 or 4 gears without losing your license. And I know many other people have said the same thing about other cars, but it applies here too. This is just the right amount of power. Oh. And this thing is quite a nice drive too. I would not hesitate to drive this pretty much anywhere. So that's my thoughts on the BMW Z3M Coupe. If you want to buy this car, again, check out the link below for carsandbids.com, and thank you, Tyler, for letting me borrow it and take some photos of it. Maybe one of these days I'll buy one of these for myself. Anyways, thanks for watching. Ugh. Oh no, I may have bitten off more than I can chew. I've got the seat moved away far forward from where it could, and I've got the seat moved quite a ways forward of where, But sometimes, I just 80s Porsches to brand new,